You've done this. I've done this. Everyone watching this video has done this.
Stayed in a job you hated because you already put 5 years into it?
Held onto a stock that kept dropping because you didn't want to lock in the loss.
Stayed in a relationship way past its expiry date because you'd already invested so much time?
That's not loyalty. That's not patience. That's a trap. It's called the sunk cost fallacy, and it is quietly wrecking people's careers, portfolios, and relationships every single day.
Here's the wild part. It's not even about the thing you're holding on to. It's about the thing you already lost.
Today, we're going deep on this one. The psychology behind it, real business collapses caused by it, what it does to your investment account, and exactly how to catch yourself doing it before it costs you years of your life.
Okay, so first, what actually is a sunk cost?
A sunk cost is money, time, or effort you've already spent. It's gone. You cannot get it back no matter what you decide next.
Right, so logically, it shouldn't affect your future decisions at all.
Exactly. A rational decision only looks forward. What's the best move from here? But our brains don't work that way.
This isn't just a personal finance quirk, though, right?
Not at all. Economists have studied this for decades. It even has a nickname, the Concorde Fallacy, named after the supersonic jet that the British and French governments kept funding for years, even after it became obvious the project would never be profitable.
They'd already spent billions, so they just kept going?
Exactly. Instead of cutting losses, they kept pouring money in, purely because so much had already been spent. The plane flew for decades and never made financial sense. That's sunk cost thinking on a national scale. Let's talk investing, because I feel like this is where it hurts people the most. This is huge. Studies on retail investors consistently show the same pattern. People hold losing positions far longer than winning ones, hoping to get back to even.
There's actually a name for that too, right?
Yeah, the disposition effect. Investors sell winners too early to lock in the good feeling and hold losers too long to avoid the bad feeling. Both decisions are driven by emotion, not math. Give me a number on that. Research on brokerage accounts has found that investors are roughly 50% more likely to sell a winning stock than a losing one in any given month, regardless of what the fundamentals actually say. That's not strategy, that's pure emotional wiring.
That's a wild stat. So our accounts are basically full of decisions we made to protect our feelings, not our money.
Pretty much. Think about what getting back to even actually means. It means you're making a decision based on your entry price, a number that has zero relevance to where the stock is going next. The market doesn't know or care what you paid.
Say you buy a stock at 100 rupees. It drops to 60.
Rationally, the only question that matters is, knowing what you know today, would you buy this stock right now at 60? If the answer's no, then you shouldn't be holding it either. You're not making a decision about the stock anymore. You're making a decision about your ego.
This hits close to home for a lot of people who bought crypto at the top, right?
Massively. Pakistani and South Asian investors got hit with this hard during the big crashes. People bought Bitcoin at all-time highs, watched it fall 60, 70%, and instead of reassessing with fresh eyes, they just kept saying, "I'll hold till it comes back to what I paid."
That mindset turns an investment into a hostage situation.
You're not investing anymore. You're just waiting to feel okay again.
Okay, let's talk jobs, because I feel like this one hits different.
This is huge. People stay in careers for years, sometimes over a decade, because they think, I already have this much experience in this field, I can't start over.
But those years are already spent.
They're sunk. Staying another 5 years miserable doesn't get those years back. It just adds more sunk years to the pile. The real question is never, how much have I already given this job? It's, if I were choosing today with zero history, would I choose this again?
I think a lot of people confuse, I've built expertise here, with, I've suffered here, so I deserve to stay. Those are two completely different arguments.
Only one of them is actually rational, yeah. There's a version of this in entrepreneurship too, and it's brutal. Founders pour years in savings into a business that's clearly not working, and instead of shutting it down, they raise more money or borrow more, purely to avoid admitting the first investment was a loss. Business schools actually have a name for that. Escalation of commitment. The more you've invested in a failing course of action, the more likely you are to keep investing in it, even against clear evidence you should stop. Give me a real example. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix in 2000 for $50 million and passed, but the deeper sunk cost story is what happened after. Blockbuster kept doubling down on its physical store model for years because leadership had built their entire career and identity around that model. By the time they tried to pivot, it was too late. They filed for bankruptcy in 2010. That always gets me. They had the winning move right in front of them. Kodak is even wilder. Kodak actually invented the digital camera back in 1975. Their own engineer built it, but leadership shelved it because the company had decades of infrastructure and profit built around film. Admitting digital was the future meant admitting their existing sunk investment in film was about to become worthless. So they sat on their own invention for over a decade while competitors ran with it.
That's not bad luck. That's sunk cost, destroying a company from the inside.
And relationships work exactly the same way.
We've been together 3 years. I can't just leave now.
3 years spent in something wrong doesn't make staying right. It just means you might be about to make it 4 wrong years instead of 3.
So why does our brain do this to us? Why can't we just cut losses cleanly?
A few reasons. 1. Loss aversion. Losses hurt roughly twice as much as equivalent gains feel good, so admitting a loss feels unbearable, even when staying guarantees a bigger loss later.
2. I'm guessing identity protection.
If you quit the job, sell the stock, end the relationship, you're forced to admit you were wrong. That's a hit to the ego, not just the wallet.
And 3. I'm guessing social pressure.
Exactly. What will people think if I quit now? We optimize for looking consistent instead of being smart.
What's the 4th one?
The waste not instinct. We're wired from scarcity to hate waste. Throwing away half a plate of food feels wrong even when you're full. Walking away from a half-finished degree, business, or relationship triggers that same waste avoidance instinct.
I never connected finishing a bad meal to staying in a bad job, but it's literally the same wiring.
Now let's talk about how companies actually weaponize this against you, because once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. Streak systems, apps like language learning platforms, fitness trackers, they're not just motivating you, they're building a sunk cost.
Wait, this reframes streaks for me completely.
Once you have a 200-day streak, quitting doesn't just mean stopping an app, it means losing 200 days of invested effort.
Gym memberships too, right? Annual contracts, joining fees?
Subscriptions auto-renew, and once you've paid for 11 months, canceling in month 12 feels like wasting the whole year, even though those 11 months are gone no matter what you do next.
I've definitely kept a subscription I don't use just because I already paid for most of the year.
Even loyalty programs exploit this. You stay with an airline you don't even like anymore because you've already built up status points, points that have no relevance to whether that airline is actually the best choice for your next trip.
I know people who fly a worse, more expensive route just to protect status. Sounds crazy out loud, but everyone does it.
Every one of those is the exact same mental error, just dressed up in a business model. The money and time already spent is gone whether you continue or not.
This scales way beyond personal decisions, doesn't it?
Massively. The same mental glitch that makes you finish a bad movie is the one that keeps national governments funding failed infrastructure projects, keeps companies shipping failed products, and keeps people in unhappy marriages for 20 years.
Let's walk through a real scenario because I think this makes it click.
Imagine someone who spent 4 years and considerable savings on a business degree, but 3 years into their finance career, they realize they actually want to build software instead. The sunk cost brain says, I can't waste that degree.
But the degree isn't wasted just because you stop using its title literally.
Right, what's actually being weighed is 4 more decades of career ahead against 4 years already behind you. The math isn't close.
Okay, so how do we actually catch ourselves doing this in real time?
Ask one question every time. If I were starting fresh today, with zero history here, would I choose this again? If the answer's no, then the sunk cost is already gone. The only thing you're actually deciding is your future, not your past. What's the second tool? Separate the decision from the emotion. Write down 2 lists. List 1, what continuing actually costs you going forward. Time, money, stress, opportunity. List 2, what quitting actually costs you going forward.
Compare those 2 lists, not the past.
Exactly. And third, set exit criteria in advance before emotion gets involved. Decide ahead of time, if X happens, I walk. No negotiation with myself. Deciding in advance with a clear head protects you from deciding in the moment with a wounded ego. Ask someone with zero emotional investment, a friend, a mentor, anyone not tangled up in the sunk cost with you. They'll usually see the exit door you can't. I like the 2-list exercise especially. It actually feels doable, not just theoretical. The truth is, quitting isn't always the failure. Sometimes staying is the actual failure. It's just a slower, quieter one. The money you lost, the years you gave, the time you invested, none of that comes back whether you stay or leave. The only real question left is, what do you do with tomorrow? If this hit close to home, job, investment, or relationship, drop which one in the comments. No judgment. And if you want to build money habits that actually move you forward instead of trapping you in the past, subscribe to Dollar Sense.